Welcome back to another episode of the Decision Hour. I'm your host, Adam Bird. Folks, I got another great interview lined up for you today. My guest today is United States Army retired veteran, and we got a special event that we're going to be talking about. So please help me welcome my new friend, Mr. Thomas Long. Tom, how are you, brother?
I'm doing good, brother. How about yourself today?
I'm doing great. Listen, I appreciate you and I have been talking for a couple weeks now. And you've got introduced. I forgot how we get through a mutual friend, if I remember correctly.
Right.
And it sounds like we've got some other friends, within certain circles that we tend to, claim that we're a part of every now and then. Maybe not publicly, but we chit chat with. But I want to dive into it because you got an event that you want to talk about that's coming up here relatively soon. But before we dive into that, I want my listeners to kind of understand, why are you bringing this guy on? Who is this guy? So let's get to know Tom just a little bit more.
Yeah. So thank you, Adam. I greatly appreciate it. Yeah. The mutual friend that we have is Darwin Larson down in Florida. Yeah. You guys met, had a great time, all those things. And then he recommended that I get in touch with you. So I did. And we've hit it off ever since.
Yeah.
So. I greatly appreciate you bringing me on board this morning to be able to talk about the Army 250th. But myself, my background, you say retired, it's just it's an additive that people make you put on there to make sure that people don't think that you're active. For someone like me, gotcha. I did not do 20 years and retire.
Gotcha.
So I just want to make sure that nobody thinks that I'm trying to stolen valor here in any type of way. I am not retired 20-year veteran. I did 6 years full term. I was going to get med boarded out, and I just took my ETS.
Gotcha. So what years then? Appreciate you clarifying that. What years did you serve?
2003 to 2009.
Oh, very nice.
With the Army National Guard here in Pennsylvania, 56th Stryker Brigade, 28th Infantry ID.
I love it. Absolutely. Well, thank you for your service.
And yours as well, brother.
Absolutely. Let's dive into, you mentioned the Army 250, and that is, yes. It's hard to believe. You look back at 250 years of the greatest Army, in the world, and I would assume in both of our opinions, it's far-fetched, being a part. It's nice to be a part of that club, but that's 250 is happening this year. This is the year that we're celebrating 250. What is going on, and how did you get involved with the Army 250?
So it's a great question. I met Lieutenant Colonel Paul McCullough and fellow brother Dave Gillespie and Lieutenant Colonel Eric Stetson from AUSA Penn and Franklin chapter here in Philadelphia. And they invited me to the chapter, started talking about things, and they said the Army 250th is happening next year here in June, and we are the primary host and planner of this event. Would you have any interest? I said, for a once-in-a-lifetime generation legacy event like that, I would die to be a part of help planning that. What can I do to serve my fellow brothers and sisters in this manner to show not only them, but the community here in Philadelphia and around the nation where not only the Army was born, but the Navy, the Marines, and the nation came to be in this birthplace in Philadelphia, what our capabilities and our community camaraderie is all about. So that's why I jumped on board to try to help make this move forward with Eric and Dave and Paul. They're the main planners and taking care of all of this stuff. I'm just a, E5 trying to help get things done.
And that's how it works. It's us NCOs that tend to get everything done, right? Backbone of the military.
Roger that.
Phil, you said a lot there. Philadelphia, 250, great city. What you do? Do you know what's on the agenda or what people can expect?
I do.
And let me back up just a little bit for those that don't know. When is this event? And because a lot of people, we got a lot of listeners that are not military.
Okay.
So when they say Army 250, what exactly does that mean? When is this event going to happen?
Yeah, you'll see a lot of advertisements that say 13th through the 15th. The 13th is a VIP session that's happening in Valley Forge, so please focus on the 14th and 15th. That's where we have our big events happening. We'll start at like 11 o'clock in the morning on the 14th, also considered Flag Day around the entire nation because it's our birthday. And then what we do is we move forward from there into a naturalization. They have a naturalization ceremony going on. They have the flag raising going on. Then we move into 250 soldiers being enlisted. We have the Army actual birthday. We have the all of those things that are happening throughout the day. Then we supposed to throughout the day have jump ins and fast roping and all kinds of different things that are happening. All those things are being calculated and worked on right now and finalized. We have a lot of special guests that are going to be there. We have Mr. Nate Boyer, former Army Ranger and Seattle Seahawk player, founder of MVP organization. He'll be there. He'll be the MC throughout the entire day. So it's phenomenal to have somebody of his caliber on board and be with us all day long. And then we have at 5 o'clock should start the Tradoc Field Band. They'll be on stage performing, which will be phenomenal.
Yeah.
And then Sunday, by far, my opinion, is the most historical event. We will have a chapel service at Washington's Chapel starting at 7:30 in the morning. And then we'll leave there when that is over, and we'll follow behind George Washington on his historical white horse back to the area where he'll ride up to Independence Hall, knock on the door. The Second Continental Congress will open up and give him his commissioning. 250 days to the day of when he received his commissioning of the commander of the Army. So that, to me, is historical, and to be a part of that. And then he'll come out of that, brother. Yep, absolutely. Chills going down my spine and my arms over that. Then he'll turn around and come out, and he'll have people in era time war uniforms from 1775 to 2025. And he'll do a pass and review on his way over to the tomb of the unknown soldier in Washington Square, where we'll lay wreaths, and we'll have special speakers speaking. They'll do their proclamations, and that'll end it for the day.
Man, so those of you that are listening right now, and let me back up, Tom. Those that are listening and they're like, man, this sounds really cool. I'd love to be there. Is there somewhere where they can find more information on this?
Absolutely. You go to www.ausa.org/Army 250th.
All right, and
250. Sorry, Army 250. Got to be specific when you're putting stuff out there.
Army 250. And we'll have the link in the show notes below. So those that are listening, just look beneath. We'll hyperlink it. You can just click on it, and while you're listening to this, just go ahead and click on it. Open up another browser. This is one of those types of things. This is a lifetime, like one of the, as a veteran myself, it's like you look back on the history of something that you were a part of for so many years. I mean, most of you that listen to the show and that have followed me throughout my career in this 9 years, 98 to 07, 06, 07 time frame, just short of 9. And it was like, it's still very much a part of me today. You never really, I mean, you leave so you take your uniform off and you put on a different uniform, but you never really leave the military,
Well, see, that's where, Adam, I think a lot of people think when they hear service, they think that you have to be actually in uniform. But we never stop serving our fellow brothers and sisters that signed the same blank check that we did in any way that we can possibly serve them, which leads us to serve our communities. Whether you're civilian or military, we continue to serve in every way that we possibly can because we want to continue to give back.
And
that's just the way I see it.
It's one of the greatest feelings in the world too. I learned kind of later on in life that when you have a purpose to serve, or you find out that your purpose is to serve others, there's really no, I mean, there's really no greater feeling in my, at least this is my opinion. This is what makes me feel good. I recently turned 47. I realized the last almost 10 years, I've had the opportunity to really kind of figure out what it was that I wanted to do in life now that I'm a little bit older, and it's helping other people get to where they want to go, and then seeing them succeed, and knowing that you had maybe even just a small part of their success is such a good feeling, and
Roger that.
to be able to celebrate something as epic as this. I mean, you hear, oh, it's the 210th or it's the 250th, and those are, all good, but 200, this is like one of those solid numbers, like 250, that's special.
And the reason I feel it's so important is because we're literally the official kickoff for America 250. America turns 250 young years next year. That is the most important thing coming up.
Wait a minute. So you're saying we're celebrating for like a whole year? This is the kickoff to the big 250.
Correct. Yeah, because we're the official kickoff because we were born first.
Yeah.
Then comes the Navy. Then comes the Marines. The Air Force and Space Force and Coast Guard are somewhere back over here, but they're not forgotten.
Yeah.
But they're just not there yet. They haven't been around as long.
Yeah.
But we were the official birth of everything. That's what's so powerful about the Army and what was so needed. And he was the George Washington being commissioned as the commander of the Army, only 6-star general ever, commander of the entire Army, goes forward, and it happens the day after our birth. So, and here in Philadelphia, where it all happened, we're having the largest celebration in the entire nation happening here in this beautiful city that just won the Super Bowl, and we're just moving forward. It's a great thing. Couldn't leave that out.
I love how you had to throw that in there just a little bit. I know all you Eagle fans are like, oh, yeah.
We waited so long.
Jesus. I enjoy coming up to Philly. Philly's is just enriched in so much history. It's a fun city to go to. It's never old. The food's great, the people are good. Walking around, the downtown, area, the Betsy Ross, and then we cover a lot of sporting events up there. So obviously we're in the southern part of Philly most of the time. But when we get up into the city and stuff, it's just walking the shorelines and the shipyard and. There's just so much history there, and it's just so much
there
like
is.
You feel like, man, this is where it all began.
Right. And it's going to be fun for the whole family because we're not in some stuffy area. Where this event is happening is right in Independence Mall. So it's the grass area in the center of the city. Independence Hall, Betsy Ross House, the National Constitution Center, all those organizations are going to be involved throughout the day in the and in all the celebrations that we have going on. And it's going to be a beautiful location for people to come naturally be tourists, see the, all the things that we're doing, see the Liberty Bell, see all those different things that they naturally would anyways. But please come out and join us and see the capabilities and why the Army is so important to this nation and the communities of what we are, because we're just not a bunch of warmongers. We're people that love our nation and want to provide protection, security, and safety for everybody that's inside of our borders.
Well, and here's the thing: if you've never been out to Philadelphia, this is a one of those types. This particular event, Army 250, is a perfect opportunity to come out and get educated on our nation's history and some of the greatest people that's ever lived or walked throughout our history. In such a fun town too. You're talking about where it's at Independence Hall there, and if I remember correctly, everything's pretty much in walking distance from the downtown area there. A couple of blocks, you can see the sign at Tun Tavern where the Marine Corps was born. The Betsy Ross House is only a couple blocks away. There's a cemetery where I believe Ben Franklin is buried. I believe it's just, and then talk about the food. I mean, thousands of places that you could go to get really good food. and just see the sights and take it in. And this is what better way to do that than here at the Army 250.
Yeah.
So keep those
and
dates.
you get to come out, and not only just that, you're going to see and meet a lot of organizations that are going to be there showcasing what it is about the Army and benefits and all kinds of other things that you're going to be able to get to learn about, see, and meet and learn the history like you were talking about.
Yeah. This is going to be great. Folks, check out the website. It's in the show notes below. I got another question for you, Tom. What I want to do is kind of put you back in the hot seat here.
Okay.
You're on a show called The Decision Hour.
Yeah.
We got to make decisions every day. Name a time in your life where your feet are on the line and you have to make that decision. What is it? And what's the atmosphere like at that time?
So I can't say that my life was on the line or anything, but, there was a time when I was in Iraq, and it was 2005. And I was supposed to go out on a mission. And there was a gentleman that I was filling in for, and he came up and grabbed me and said, "This is my job. I'm going, you're not." And I said, "Sergeant, it's supposed to be your day off. Let me go. I got this. You've been running hard, everything." He said, "No, when my captain goes out of the wire, I go with him." So I had to sit back that day and listen to them get hit and him never come home again. Making that decision that it wasn't mine, trying to figure out why he made that decision, because God knows what he needs and what he wants and where he needs us and where he wants us, was life-changing for me, because the survivor issue, the survivor guilt, not having a family, not having children, being only 23, not having anything that needed me to come home, bothered me for decades, Adam. Decades. That man, re-enlisted into the military just to be there with us. He was retired. He did his time. He was out. He re-enlisted just to come over with us, and didn't make it. Didn't come home because of some decisions that happened. And my decision didn't happen until decades later, where I had to get this proverbial part out of another part of my body that, sometimes it gets stuck in. And that happened from when the VA told me that I was dying if I didn't get out of bed. So that's when I finally made the decision that you're talking about. Because of that, it affected me for so long. I allowed it to affect me for so long because I couldn't see past it, that not until my life was on the line, finally, actually, and I have a family of my own, that I decide that it was time to make a change. And by the grace of God and the love of a good woman, I did. And I'm here after 2 suicide attempts, former alcoholic, all of those things that I went down, those dark paths, those dark decisions, those weaknesses that I had. Not calling anybody out there weak. I'm only pointing the finger at me, nobody else.
Yeah.
My weak choices, my weak decisions. So not until then is when I made the decision to do what I needed to, but not only just for myself, but to try to help others and get back to service.
I appreciate you sharing that. That's tough, man. Tough. And I know there's a lot of people listening that can resonate with that. Those of you that are listening, there's always hope. Ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask for help. I think that's a big thing.
20 years. Let me help you shorten your learning curve. Yeah. Don't be like me. Reach out.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you're weak when you reach out. It means you're actually stronger than you thought, because you took the effort to open your hand and reach out for your fellow brother or sister that's out there. That, if you remember in basic training, as we went over that wooden wall, not a single one of us made it without reaching our hand down to pull up our brother or sister. We're here. Adam's here. I'm here. There's always somebody here willing to put down their hand, pull you up.
And that's such a great point. And those of you that are struggling right now, afraid to ask for help, then come ask for help. Come to the Army 250, because we'll all be there.
Roger that.
Come to the Army 250. See what history is all about. Get help. Come have, come have fun. Bring the family. Come have fun. Be a part of history in the making.
Yeah.
This is history. Yeah. Not only are they showing you history, but you're going to be a part of history. Greatest.
And there's going to be stuff for all ages. The recruiting battalion is going to be there with the rock wall, with the little ACFTs and all that stuff, giving you the little challenges and prizes and all those different things. We're going to have an event in the morning for PT and different stuff along those lines. So please follow the socials, follow Adam. He's going to have all that stuff, putting it out there, letting you know about it, so the family can be involved, because we want everybody to feel welcome and be a part of what's going on.
Army 250 happening this year, just a few months. We got all the details below. Make sure you come and check it out. Tom, I appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for giving me the honor and privilege to be here today, Adam.
Absolutely.
Thank you, and God bless.
Absolutely, my friend. Listen, folks, that's all the time that we got. Make sure you check it out. Army 250 is happening. It's happening. Are you going to be a part of history, or are you going to sit back and miss out on it? Be a part of it. Come to Philly this summer. Come check it out. Celebrate with us. Before we let you go, make sure you check out our parent network, Heroes Media Group. Go check out all the podcast shows and articles over there. Simply go to heroesmediagroup.com. Until next time, you've been listening to The Decision Hour.